Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. Today, we'll be having a conversation around developing organizational capacity. Our facilitator for tonight is Mr. Akinwumi Oluwashina Thomas, and I'll be introducing him to us in the next few seconds. Please pay attention and let's have fun together today as we learn. Akinwumi Oluwashina Thomas is a talented and organized professional with over a decade experience across multidisciplinary sector, cuts across management, organizational development, human resource, outsourcing service, vendor management, advisory services, and so on and so forth. He has deep interest in people and culture, and this made him switch from accounting into human resource management. He is a member of many organizations, including Human Capital Institute and the Charter Institute of Personnel Development, UK, among others. He champions several voluntary services, peer review forum, facilitating anchoring. He is a versatile trainer with broad-based experience, putting together training packages that meet the specific needs of target audience. Having worked in a couple of organizations like Lorry Green Education, IDEA HMO, he has contributed to capacity development. He is currently an HR and organizational development consultant with DB Consulting. Please, let's welcome tonight, for the first time on this prestigious platform, Mr. Akinwumi Oluwashina Thomas. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun, for this opportunity to contribute to learning on this platform. And great professionals, you are welcome to HR Mentorship Series. Once again, my name is Akinwumi Oluwashina Thomas. You're welcome to this learning session. But before we go further into the training proper, I would like to pose a scenario before us so that we can look at it, and I'll have some questions for the background of the topic. Now, you got an employment offer from two organizations. Let's say Organization A and Organization B. Organization A is at the downtown with good ambience and notable employees, while Organization B is at the outskirts of the town with low ambience, but also not noticeable number of employees. Now, my question, why would you accept offer from Organization A and reject the offer from Organization B that's from the outskirts of the community? I would like us to provide answers to this. Why would you accept offer from Organization A and reject offer from Organization B? Then also, why would you accept offer from Organization B, the one from the low part of the community, and reject the offer from Organization A, which is from the downtown, where people would like to work? And then the third question, why do you think both organizations want you to work with them? Can we just look at these three questions? Why would you accept offer from Organization A from the downtown and you reject Organization B from the lower part of the community? Then number two, why would you accept offer letter from Organization B and reject the one from the downtown, Organization A? Then lastly, why do you think both organizations want you to work with them? This is what I would like us to look at today, and that is what we are going to discuss in our module today. And the topic is developing organizational capacity. Developing organizational capacity. Developing organizational capacity. In our topic today, we'll be looking at overview and learning outcomes, definition and dimensions of capacity, organizational structure, components of capacity, competency, capacity audit, and if we have time, we'll be looking at We're having time for question and answer. The learning outcome. By the end of this module, we should be able to identify and prioritize capacity development for all stakeholders within the organization. Number two, you should be able to conceptualize, communicate, and institutionalize organization capacity development. We should be able to do that at the end of the topic. And third, lastly, to be able to use individual capacity development culture to promote organizational capability development. Now, these three are what we are going to be able to do by the end of the module. Now, let's go to the topic proper, developing organization capacity. You see, every organization, just like human beings, has something that runs in them from the start to the finish of that organization, something that runs in them every day, just like the blood runs in every human being. So, and that is what we want to learn today. Now, look at it in this way. Why do some organizations keep doing very well and are still relevant after about 100 years that they have started business? But there are some organizations that are less than 10 years when they start, they close shop. Why? Why do we have some people that they are doing well, all of a sudden they stop doing well? Why? Why do we have some consultants, they start their consultancy services, they get contracts from clients, after the first contract, they stop, the clients are consultants 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, they are still doing business with the same client. Why? Why are there some schools? And you look at these schools, you see, keep hearing of their name, many people want to go there. Over 100 years, the school are still vibrant, but we have some under 10 years. Nobody wants to go to that school again, and the school closes down. Also, why do we have some CEOs? They can break banks. They're ready to break banks, so we keep some employees in their firm. But there are still some employees that, at a snap of the finger, you can do away with them. Why? This is what the onus of what we want to discuss today is capacity. Capacity. What is capacity? What is capacity? It is important that we know capacity. This is what runs in the blood of the CEO. The CEO wants to know about capacity every day. And as HR and every department within the organization, it should develop capacity on a daily basis. It will be at the heart of the CEO, be HR, finance, or whatever. It will be at the heart of the CEO. That is when you tell the CEO, I want to discuss with you. We'll be ready to listen to you because we are discussing capacity within. What is capacity? The European Center for Development Policy Management gave a definition of capacity. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development also has another definition for capacity. Also, the United Nations Development Program also has definition for capacity. Even some scholars in Nigeria, out of Nigeria, in Africa, and what have you, they have definitions for capacity. Today, I'm not here to define capacity, but I want to give you the key items of capacity. You see, capacity in an organization is a deliberate effort. It's an intentional effort. You have to develop it. You have to plan ahead for it. You have to make sure this is what we want. And this is capacity. When you develop it, you plan for it, at the end of the day, it helps you to get the outcome of the organization, the essence of which the organization is existing. Capacity. Now, there are three key elements of this capacity: the individual, the organization, and the enabling environment. The individual, the organization, the enabling environment. When you have deliberate plan, collaborative efforts to put all these three together, we see that we will achieve the mindset of the CEO, and the CEO will be willing to listen to the HR. We've been hearing this complaint that my CEO does not have my time. I always beg to have 5 minutes because you are not discussing capacity within. When you discuss capacity at the mahogany with the CEO, you realize that he will be ready to listen to you. In fact, when you are not ready for him, he will call you, my dear. I want to hear more about how we can build capacity within this organization. Now, we talk about the 3 prongs of capacity: the individual, the organization, and the enabling environment. The enabling environment. What do we do daily to end our future expectations within our society? And this thing is known as capacity, profitability, competence, performance. These are what we're talking about, capacity. As the HR, you need to have an in-depth knowledge of individuals within your organization, the individual generation. If you don't have the individual knowledge of the generations within your organization, you might have problem developing capacity with your organization, because capacity is making results at the end of the day, making profit at the end of the day, be it NGO, be it private organization, be it public organization, be it religious center. You need to have results at the end of the day, and that is when the CEO will be happy with you. Now, the first key element you need to do about individuals is to know the generation. The generation you populate your organization with. We have the Alpha generation. We have the Gen Z. We have the Gen Y, the millennials. We have the Gen X. We have the baby boomers. And we have the silent generation. In your organization, you need to have this mix within your workplace. The Alpha generation are the children that are born within 2013 and by 2025. They are the Alpha generation. You know definitely if your organization is populated with this generation, you know you have a baby organization. Now we have the Gen Z. Gen Z are the people born within 1997 and 2012. These are young graduates, people that are just leaving colleges, people that are just leaving university, people that are serving. And you know, when you have this type of people, they have their characteristic nature. These are the people that they are still, maybe some of them still want to further their education, some of them still want to do. So when you fill your organization with this type of people, you know the type of organization you have. The Gen Z, their nature, they are the upline, they are the what's up guys, they are the people that they want to cut their hair anytime, they are the people that they want to tell you this is what we want. I say this is what organization, when they have their own culture, and you need to know them. You need to know them, you need to understand them before you can fit them properly within your organization. Then we talk about the generation Y, or the millennials, the people born within 1981 and 1996. All these people, when you fill them with your organization, you have a big structure, you have a big base for helping this generation X. Then we have generation X, 1965 to 1980. These are also part of it. If you fill the organization with these people, then you are talking about retirement every time. So you need to have the knowledge of the individuals within your organization, the baby boomers. You need to know them. You know all these people, the Alpha generation, the Gen Z, the Generation Y, the Millennial, the Generation X, the baby boomers. You need to know them. Then you know how you fill your organization with these people. Then you balance them. When you know how to balance them, you will have a good base to provide capacity development. Because you cannot develop capacity. You cannot develop the heartbeat of the CEO without knowing all these generations. But this is what you need to know about the individuals. You know them. When you know them, you can also develop them. Intentionally, collaboratively, you organize them, you arrange their behaviors. You arrange their behaviors, and at the end of the day, you will be able to understand them, to know where we are going. Now, let me ask a question. What is the percentage of each generation within your organization? What is the percentage of each of these generations? The Alpha generation, Generation Y, Generation Z, Generation X, the baby boomers, and the silent generation. So if you have the higher percentage of the Generation Alpha and Generation Z within your organization, you know that you are every day to keep going to the recruiting market. Is it going placing adverts? You want to have people, you have to do every time. There will be no balance. You don't have balance within your organization. You cannot develop capacity. So for you to develop capacity within your organization, you need to understand the individuals. And how would you understand the individuals without understanding a generation? So we go to the second part, which is organization. The organization. That's the organization. Organization is a collection of people. When you get these individuals, you put a bit of generation Z, a bit of generation Y, a bit of generation Z, generation X, you put everything together. And they are to work. You have a people within your organization. They are working towards a certain end. They're having an end at the back of their mind. This is why we are working. It could be in a service-oriented organization, or you have a product-oriented organization. You need to know this is what we have. This is what we want to do. And understanding culture, conflicts within that organization, the characteristic nature of what you do will help in addressing your organization capacity development to be able to build capacity. Now, within the organization, capacity is further divided into three. Capacity is further divided into three within the organization. Now, we have the productive capacity, we have the idle capacity, and then we have the protective capacity. These are everything we need to know within our organization. The productive capacity. What is productive capacity? You see, your productive capacity is everything you do within your organization, everything you do within your organization that brings in income, that pays everybody within that organization. That is your productive capacity, and you need to understand it. You need to know it. You need to know the resources, the infrastructure, the knowledge, the culture, and the engagement within this productive capacity, because you cannot achieve anything if they are not bringing in money. Even NGOs, they know a way whereby they bring income into their organization, and this will help us. Now, anytime you are not bringing in funds, you're not bringing in income, or you are not achieving the essence of your being in that organization, is idle capacity. What is idle capacity? Idle capacity is the time you are not doing what brings income into the organization. The time you are not performing what is in your JD as an employee within the organization, that is your idle capacity. For instance, in an organization, you deal with internet, you work on the net all the time. But that time at which the internet is down, nobody is working. That is your idle capacity. For instance, in the bank, you get to the bank, you want to cash some amount of money, but you get it, they tell you that the internet is down, they cannot work. Everybody will be complaining, standing there, the employees are complaining, the customers are complaining. That is your idle capacity. The time is at the factory, when there is no enough raw materials to work, that is idle capacity. The time you are not doing anything that is enshrined in your job description, that is your idle capacity. And whenever your idle capacity is more than your productive capacity, there is problem. The CEO will be frowning. Everybody, your managers, everybody will be frowning because we are not doing anything. How will you get paid at the end of the month? That's idle capacity, because the idle capacity is small. You might think that, oh, I didn't do anything else. Even you yourself will not be happy because you are idle all the day. And for this not to happen, we move to the third part of the capacity within the organization. And this is protective capacity. Protective capacity. The protective capacity is everything you do to ensure that the idle capacity is reduced to the barest minimum, if not zero. Everything you do within the organization as HR, this topic is very wide. Everything each department does to reduce idle capacity is called protective capacity. And you must make sure you do this. You plan this very well so that you do the right thing at the right time. There are elements, there are 4 critical elements we need to understand when we are talking about protective capacity. We talk about planning, we talk about organizing, we talk about leading, and we talk about controlling. These 4 critical elements, they are very, very germane to success within the protective capacity. What is planning? Planning is what you do when you have a written future activities and expectations, when you bring them down to a daily quantifiable task to be assigned to individuals within the workplace. That is planning. You're planning at the beginning of the year, you plan. For instance, now I believe every HR within the organization must have done their 6 monthly work plan. You should have done that now because that is how you will know what next to be done. That is when you wake up in the morning, you know what next to be done. And just like Dr. Jegede will say, you diarize. You have your diary handy with you. You have your diary handy with you. You write everything down. You are not reactive as a personnel that is helping to build capacity within the organization. You are not reactive. Rather, you are optimistic. You are pragmatic. You are there to do the right thing at the right time. You have your diary, you work with it, and you have your work plan. And this is a tool you must use to get everything done at the right time. Then we talk about organizing. Organizing, to design structures and components of organization, internal environment to attain goals. You organize everything. The HR needs to organize every department. Then the departments, they need to organize themselves, how procedures, processes, everything flows within the organization. You organize. Organization is the framework needed to achieve goals, to coordinate human efforts, to coordinate resources, and to incorporate policies. When you organize, you know what you're supposed to do at every point in time within your organization. If you don't organize, there's going to be problems. So you need to understand the system of organizing that is germane to achieving capacity, to building capability within the organization. We are still talking on protective capacity. Then you go to leading. That's the 3rd element within building capacity, protective capacity, leading. Leading ensures everyone works to the goals, to the vision of the organization. You work according to the heartbeat of the CEO. Leading. People who are leading to ensure that the people management, staff motivation, behavioral influence, all these things focus on leading to lead the people. This is not the time for armchair HR, armchair finance, armchair customer service manager. No, you ensure that you lead in the right way. You motivate and monitor everything you do. Now, this monitoring takes us to the 4th element of protective capacity, which is controlling. Elements planned to achieve results from all strata of the organization is controlling. Anything that is controlled gets done. Anywhere there is no control, look at why do we have accidents on the road? The driver gets into a car and start driving, you start speeding, overspeeding, and you are enjoying yourself. Once there is no control, what will happen? Accident. So for us to prevent accidents, we have to ensure there is control. You measure goals. You measure goal deviations. You don't just measure goals. Most of the time we measure goals. We want to do this, we want to do, but at the end of the day, we don't measure how we have deviated from the goals. What makes us not to attain these goals? We indicate corrective measures. We use KPI to design proper job description for every individual within the organization. These are part of your protective capacity. Then you appraise based on the standard of operation procedure within the organization. This is part of your controlling under protective capacity to help performance. performance management. This is part of your protective capacity. So when you can do all these four, you ensure that there's protective capacity. Under performance management, I will be talking about that in the course of this module. So we need planning, we need organizing, leading, and controlling to help us in achieving organization goals. Then we talk about the third part of the key elements of capacity, which is the enabling environment. The enabling environment. What are the enabling environments of your organization? Every stakeholder within the organization constitutes the environment of your organization. We have the internal environment, we have the external environment. If you're able to mix all these environments together, you will have a viable environment that will help you to achieve the mission, the vision, and the goals of the organization. Your environment includes the community, the management, the employees within the organization, your clients and customers, the government, your competitors are part of your environment, your partners, your suppliers. All these are all part of the environment that you need to maximize as HR within the organization so that you maximize everybody, you communicate within the organization and achieve all these. This will help to develop a good environment, and we need to maximize that. So when we maximize our environment, we get the right result, and our CEO will be ready to listen at every point in time. As HR, you have the power, you have the position, you have the personality to achieve these goals. I believe you are listening. You can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay. So HR has the power, you have the position, and you have the personality to achieve the best within your organization. That is why you are managing the people. That's why you're managing the resources. That's why you're managing the culture within the organization. So you manage everything. Martin Wanjoy, that consultant and head of learning at High Performance Africa said, the foundation of performance management lies within an organization's strategic framework. The father said that it delves into the essence of what an organization aims to accomplish, how it plans to achieve it, and the essential factors and capabilities required for success. This is it lies on the HR. You communicate all this into all the departments. That is why you are not just managing punctuality within the organization. You are not just managing absenteeism within the organization. You manage the heartbeat of the CEO. And that is what you take to the mahogany. In the night, the CEO will call you. I want to do this. I want to do this. How do you think we can do it? Because he knows that he will bring something good to the table. And you'll be ready to listen to you. These are areas we need to. These are the areas we need to work on, and we know it. So organization is an entity. Organization is an entity. Organization is an entity. And we need to understand this. To build capacity as HR, you are looking at human, the people and knowledge. You are looking at communication and collaboration within the organization. We are looking at the structural procedures within an organization. And then we are looking at the materials, at the equipment within the organization. So how do you build capacity? How do you build capacity? Number one, you have a deliberate action. Deliberate action. You have complementary strategies. You know, I told you when I was itemizing the definition of capacity, I said it's an intentional, deliberate, and collaborative effort you do within individual, organization, and the enabling environment do to achieve the mindset, the profitability, the mindset of the CEO. Now, deliberate actions, complementary strategies. You need to have it to achieve goals. And what are these complementary strategies? Assessment. before you bring in anybody into the organization, you assess that person. And this is an ongoing organization. You assess everything that goes on within the organization. Planning. You plan every day. You're always planning. You're always planning. You're always planning. Your planning must be smart. It must be measurable. It must be specific. It must be realistic. It must be time bound. You are smart with your plans in the organization to share information. To share information with every department. You don't just sit in your office and brandish instructions. No, you go to each department to share information. You provide technical assistance, technology assistance. You coach every resource within the organization to ensure that they are doing well, they are viable. Also, to evaluate. Because if you don't evaluate, there is problem within that organization. So now, capacity development process. What are the processes of capacity development? Number one, you engage stakeholders. You engage stakeholders. Every stakeholder within the organization, you discuss with them. You discuss with the management. You discuss with the leaders within the organization. You discuss with them. You know their problems. You know their desires. You know what pains them. You know everything. Then you assess each area. You assess every need within the organization. You assess everything. While you are assessing the need, you want to know what we actually need to do after your engagement. You assess everything critically. You sit down, you plan, you map out different things to ensure that you are doing the right thing. Then, after assessing, you formulate interventions. You formulate interventions. So, you see, this is not one intervention fits all. You continue to formulate interventions. After formulating intervention, you go to the next level. You implement the interventions. You don't just have the idea and you keep it in your diary. No, once you are formulating it, you call the people together, the leaders together, you share it with them, you implement it with them, you guide them on it, you go with it with them as they are doing it, you do all these things. And so when you do this, you now evaluate. I said it that everything that gets done must be measured. To avoid accidents, to avoid problems, you must control. So you evaluate outcomes. This is not okay. You look at it, what can we do again that can bring the best result within this organization? There can't be any effective communication if there is no organizational structure. You want to engage, you want to assess, you want to formulate, you want to implement, you want to evaluate, but you don't have organization structure. There is problem. So we need to understand organization structure. We need to understand the structure of our environment. You need to understand the structure of your organization. And then you need to know the type of organizational structure you have adopted in your organization, your company. You know, this is what we have adopted in our organization, and this will help us. It will help us. But let me give a scenario. There is this woman, let me say, Madam Adaizi Adiola Adamu. This woman is a very good cook. So she uses our kitchen to cook soup. So when the neighbors start tasting her soup, they say, Madam Adaizi, Madam Adiola, Madam Adamu, your soup is nice. Your soup is delicious. Can we have a taste? So when she starts looking at her, every time they're having a taste, okay, let me start selling. Okay, don't worry, I can cook for you. Then she starts cooking. She was doing it alone. She will go to the market to buy. She will cook it in her kitchen. She will go and deliver to our customers. All of a sudden, she realizes that by the time she has gone out to supply, other people are waiting for her. She started losing customers. Then she said, let me get some other people. Maybe they will be helping me to wash my utensils. To get people that will be washing the utensils. She identified a need. I need somebody to help me wash the utensils. Then along the line, she needs people again to go to the market to buy for her. Then she needs people again to go and supply. Then she realizes that, I'm started having 5 people, 10 people, 12 people working with me. How do I manage these people? If this woman has done very well, before bringing in anybody, we have looked at it, what will this person be doing? How will this person do the job? And she will have thought, this is what you should be doing. This is how you are going to do it. Then she look at it and balances it. But by the time she now starts having 2, 3, 4, 5 people doing the same job. Now, she needs somebody to manage them. So she has to delegate authority to somebody. You are the head of the people washing plates. You are the head of the people supplying. You are the head of the people procuring, going to buy. Now you are the head of the people managing everything we have within the organization. Then she will release, they will delegate authority and release power, make these people to be independent. She does that. And the people now that are manning each unit within that small outfit, they know the people that are working with them. That is everything we talk about organization structure. Now let's bring it to the real organization, because organization is an entity different from the owner. We now need to look at it. What type of structure does this woman, is this organization going to adopt? But before we talk about that, let's look at it. Job design. These are the organizational structure. Organization start from job design. Before you recruit anybody into the organization, there should be job design. Now, the first thing is identification of the need. Okay, you specify the need. This is the need. We need somebody to do this particular function within the organization. This person that is going to do this must have specification. This is what the person will do. This is the cognitive reasoning level this person must have. The academic background this person must have. Is it a skilled work or non-skilled or semi-skilled work? You design the job. You design the job, then you write job description. You have specified the job specification. Then you have job description. You describe the job. Job specification is on the job, while job description is on the job holder, the person that will do the job. This is what we call job analysis. If you don't get this thing right, you cannot get capacity development right within your organization, because you are going to always have square peg in a round hole. And for you to avoid this, you must get your job analysis very well. The specification, the job description. You see, everything we are talking here is a topic on its own that takes time to explain, because developing organization capacity is a very big topic. Now, it's just like saying one person wants to devour an elephant. You just need to pick and pick and pick and pick. So when you look at this, you have people now that are performing related functions. For instance, you have people in sales, you put them together. You have people in procurement, you put them together. You have people in facility, you put them together. You have people in operations, you put them together. You have people also in some other critical areas, sales, marketing, you put them together. So when you put these people together, what have you done? You have moved to the second stage, which is departmentation. You departmentize. You now have departments. You have you cannot have a department without having a head. You need somebody to manage that department. You need somebody to manage those people performing a related roles. Because if everybody, they are all in one department and all of us are on the same line, they are doing everything, there will be confusion. And to avoid confusion within the organization, there should be an arrowhead, somebody you can point to. This is the person leading these people. And that's where we move to the third level, which is delegation. Delegation. There should be clarity of who is responsible to whom. Assign tasks and responsibility to one person that will coordinate that unit. If you don't have this person in finance, you need somebody. That's where you have the manager. That is why in admin, you have the manager. Even in HR, you have the HR manager. In procurement, you have the procurement manager. Operations, you have operations manager. You have all these departments. There should be delegation of authority. So if you don't have this, there will be problem within the organization. Now, let me talk about principles of delegation. Principles of delegation. Number one, you need to have functional principle. You have unity of command principle. You have resolve expected principle. You have absolute responsibility principle. You have parity of authority and responsibility principle. You have authority level principle, and then you have scalar principle under delegation. For you to delegate, you must have functional principle. There should be a clear statement of expectation. Mr. X, you are the manager of this group. This is what is expected of you. And it must be stated in his job description. It must be stated in his job description. If you have a manager, a delegate that does not know what is supposed to be done, there is problem. That person cannot ensure capacity development within that unit. There will be clear statement of expectation, unity of command. Within an organization, you don't have two drivers in a car. If you have two drivers in a car, there's going to be problem. One might want to go to the left, and another want to go to the right. One might want to swap to this side, another want to swap to that. One might want to reverse, another want to change gear. There will be problem. So to avoid confusion, directives must come from one person. So within an organization, you delegate authority to just one person, except when you have a bigger organization where you can have units within a unit. You have other units, subunits, and then other subunits will still have supervisors that are responsible to a manager. So that is unity of command. Then we talk of result expecting. At times you delegate authority based on the outcome you are expecting. Your outcome, you look at it, say, I want to do this. I want to, okay, you be their leader. Based on the outcome you are expecting, you have that. I believe we are still listening, please. Hello?
Yes, we are with you, sir.
Okay, so after result expected, we look at absolute responsibility. Like this is transfer of power. If each department has a transfer of power, you transfer power to the delegated person. The person so that the person can be accountable. When you have, okay, you are the manager of this unit within the organization, but we are still doing the work of that person. How can the person be accountable? Person that receives report does not give report. You are the one that's supposed to receive report, but you are the one doing the task. So who is going to report to you? Who are you going to report to? So once you delegate authority, there should be absolute responsibility. The person will be accountable. He knows that, oh, I'm the one. These people, I'm responsible for this set of people. Then I should be able to guide them. Now we talk of parity and authority, parity of authority and responsibility. That person, that manager must be independent. The person can do. He must work based on his JD. He must perform based on his JD, because he also, by the time you are looking at his KPI and his performance, you will see he's doing appraisal. He's going to be appraised based on his independence. If at every point in time, a manager will come and meet the senior manager or come and meet the director, how do I do this? How do you know that he's not competent? I'm going to talk about competence because of this training, time permitting us. Then we talk about authority level. When you are delegating authority, you are choosing a manager, somebody to manage, there should be authority level, appropriate level. You put people within the same level to manage each other. Then we talk about scalar principle. This is hierarchy. You don't pick somebody from the lowest rung of the organization to be supervising a manager. Some organizations do it maybe by one reason or the other. Maybe somebody is a madam's younger brother, or it's wrong. It's not ethical. It scatters the organization. So you don't pick somebody from the lower hierarchy to come and manage somebody at the higher hierarchy. So you must have scalar principle within your organization. Then I move to the fourth point, which is this. Let me take the chain of command. Chain of command. I'll take chain of command before I'll come back to span of control. What is chain of command? Chain of command is the reporting relationship within organization. Reporting relationship within organization. Who reports to whom? Who reports to whom? Hierarchy of authority. This helps career path. And if your organization does not build career path, you keep going to the recruitment center every time, because you have high labor turnover. Chain of command. People should know you report to me, I report to you, I report to this person, I report to this person. Then there should be chain of command. And after chain of command, we now come back to span of control. You are a manager. You must know how many people are working under you. Span of control. You must know the number of subordinates or direct reports you have. So you can't just say, I'm a manager, I don't know how many people are working with me. Or I'm a team supervisor, I'm a team head, and you're going out, you don't know how many people are with you. You don't know what they should do. Every team head should know the role of each subordinate within each team. This is what we call span of control, and this will help us. This will help the organization to build capacity, and capacity will ensure we achieve our capability at the end of the day. And this will help our CEO to always be happy with us. Now, approaches of organization structure. I'm not going to waste much of our time here because we have hierarchical organization structure, which is the normal organization structure that we have within a company. Most companies, you see one person will be at the top and it keeps coming down as triangular, a pyramidal form. Call it hierarchical organization. So it keeps becoming wider as it comes down to the lower level of authority. Hierarchical organization structure. We have functional organization structure. That is group people based on the functions they perform within the organization. Also, we have horizontal. This is common to the MSME, the baby organization, the starters, people that are just starting. When we have horizontal, everybody's on the flat level. We have access to the CEO at the same time. In fact, the CEO and the employee, they deliberate, they talk, everybody performs almost the same function. That's horizontal organization structure. It's common to the MSME. Then we have divisional organizational structure. Maybe you work in an organization where you have plants. You have Lagos plants, you have Accra plants, you have Lome plants, you have America, you have one in USA, you have one in Dublin, you have one in Dubai. So each plant is responsible for what they do, for what it does, but contributes to the headquarters profitability. That's divisional organization structure. So you need to have this knowledge that communication flows through this organization structures. Then we have the matrix organization structure. The matrix organization structure also helps. It helps where we have one employee under two different units. For example, in engineering department, where we have an engineer working under a chief engineer, and at the same time is in another unit where is under a project manager. That is matrix. And these are the new contemporary organization structure that is coming up today. It helps when you have it. This company can work here. It's not just regimented to one unit. You can move within some organization, move within some organization. This helps organization structure and performance. Then, as a result of this disruptive workplace, as a result of this post-COVID-19 era, we have other organization structure that are fast growing, like team-based organization structure and network organizational structure. All these, you have team-based, you work remotely, and then you're working under this unit, you're working in another unit, you're working in another unit, you're working remotely, the network organizational structure. So this also helps, and it gives quick profitability, and it makes everybody to be okay. So now we are moving to the climax of where we really need to devote time and explain based on our time. And this is components of organization structure. You cannot understand capacity building within an organization. It's just like a young man or a young lady. You want to get married and you say, oh, by the time I'm 25, you are 15 now, or you are 18, you're just getting admission to a higher institution and you are planning. By the time I'm 25, by the time I'm 27 or before 30, I should get married. I should marry. What are the capacity you must build as individuals? Because if you don't have it, you cannot give it within the organization. Because it is what you come to the organization with, the organization will build. And when I asked the question when we started, I said, why do you think those two organizations, they want to engage you? It's because you have certain competencies. You have certain capacity in you that they feel will suit their organization needs and makes you suitable for their organization. You might not be the best performance, the best candidate within the organization, during the interview, but because you are suitable to their organization culture, you have that. So you develop this capacity. Now we have this component of organization structure, organizational capacity. All this will help us in building our structure, our capacity. Number one, we have vision, mission, and values. We have vision, mission, and values. Number two, we have governance and leadership. Governance and leadership. Three, we have program delivery and impact. That should be program delivery. As HR, you have your program delivery at the beginning of the year. You bring it to a daily quantifiable task so that everybody, every unit within the organization, every department within the organization runs with it. If they cannot run with it, you cannot achieve your capability at the end of the year. And then you cannot stand face to face with your CEO and achieve something and say something. He will not listen to you. You don't have your time because he knows that you are always a cost center. HR should not be a cost center for the CEO. Rather, you should be a helper to build the capacity of everybody within the organization. You diarize, you use your diary. So you have program delivery and impact. Then there is resource development. You develop every resource you have within the organization. You look at the strategic relationship. Then you look at internal control management. Internal control management. Internal control management. Let me start with mission, vision, and values. Let me start with vision. I want to itemize it in a way that we understand it peacefully. Your vision, your mission, and values. What are visions? Visions are inspirational and aspirational. Visions is where you are going, where the mindset of the CEO, what he wants to achieve, and he has communicated it to everybody within the organization. What we want to achieve, where we are going. Where we are going. It's our intention. It's our inspiration. It's things that motivate us every day. Like, for instance, you say, this organization wants to be the best supplier of this product in Nigeria, in Africa, beyond Africa. We want to be number one health provider within this country. That is vision. That is vision. It needs to be concise. It's a concise explanation. It's a reason for your existence as an organization. As individual also, you need to have your vision statement. That the vision statement must drive you. It must motivate you every day. As an employee within the organization, this vision must motivate you every day. What you want to do. You see some clueless employees, some employees that they don't have vision. So you look at it, your vision. You communicate this vision with everybody within the organization. Vision. A father has vision for his children. A father has vision. I don't want to have more than 2 children. I don't want to have more than 3. So we look at it in that way and we see what we can do. We have vision. We have vision. So now, after the vision statement of the organization, we now look at the mission. What is mission? Why we exist. Our daily operation. That is your mission statement. Our daily operation. Every organization should have the mission statement. I say, okay, this is why we exist. That is the daily task we do. And you have to do it. Mission is not just what we write on the table or somewhere within the organization. It is what we have to do on a daily basis. The delivery of our services, the production of all our products is our mission. We work based on our mission, and it will help us to achieve the CEO's mindset. For us to work with the CEO's mindset, we need to build capacity. And how do we build capacity when we don't have the mission? Some employees do not even know the mission of their organization. Then we now talk of the last one here. We talk about values. values. Our values are our culture. Our values are our culture. Most of the time, we think culture is what we say we are. Culture is not what we say we are. Culture is what we do. I read something and I wrote it down. Let me read it for you. By Mark Randolph. He said, culture is like erosion. 99% of the changes take place in 1% of the time. And the strongest cultural signal are sent by who you hire, who you fire, and who you reward. Who you hire, recruitment, who you fire, maybe retrenchment or whatever, or sack, who you fire, then who you reward, how you motivate your employees, your compensation strategy, how you do it. Then he said, he also continued, he said, you talk about culture until you are blue in the face. You can put up the most beautiful posters in your break room and carve your values into the cornerstone of your building. That is what we see. Most organizations, once we enter, we see our mission, our value, our this, our that. But none of that will make the slightest bit of difference if your words don't match your actions. That is what we see. Most people write, we are pragmatic, we are professional, we are good, we are this, we are smart, we are industrious, we are time conscious, we are this, we are that. But we don't actually do it. Now let's also look at his conclusion. He said, culture is observational, not aspirational. It's not what you say, it's what you do. So in your organization, dear professional, what do you do on a daily basis? I was speaking with a CEO some time ago. He said, do you know what baffles me in my organization? That somebody will send LPO 4 days, nobody attends to it. And we have people within the organization. And they said it's professionalism. They are prompt. How can we say that organization is prompt when nobody is response to LPO order, LPO mail within 4 or 5 days? And clients will be complaining. A front desk officer will come and put leg on the table and watching movies, watching Nickelodeon based on their generation. So we need to look at it. We need to look at it and ensure that our culture, we do it on a daily basis. This will help us. And when we're able to get our mission, our vision, our values, when we get all these things right, it will help us within the organization. It will help us within the organization. Then we now go to the second component. The second component, as I said, is governance and leadership. What is governance? Governance is the framework for organization management within your organization, within your company. What is the framework for how do you manage people? How do you manage the people? How do you manage culture within your organization? That is what we are talking about, governance and leadership. Now, you see that we have the low employees, the lower employees, we have the line managers, we have the top management. We are talking of governance structure. All these will help the organization. And when we look at it, it helps. It builds a particular framework. It identifies who can make decisions. Governance structure identifies who can make decisions and how authority is to be made within the organization. This will help us. Now, as HR, when you are fixing or you are recruiting people, so you are delegating authority to manage the people. We have this we call KSA, the knowledge. Consider the knowledge, to consider the skills, to consider the attitude of the people. You don't just put somebody that have the skills but don't have the attitude. Some people don't have leadership attitude. You don't put them at the position of authority within the organization. You could have the acumen. That is why in sport, it's not every good footballer that will be a good coach. For example, there's a country that play one of their best, I think Argentina also, one of their best footballer, Maradona also, that they made him a coach. Everybody knows what happens So you have attitude, leadership quality that you need to build. If you don't listen to this area, you cannot build capacity within your organization. And then this KSA helps the competency of the organization, of the manager they are putting, of the competency of the line manager, the competency of the supervisor they are putting. If you don't look at this KSA, you will not help the capacity, and it will rub off on the capability of the organization to achieve goals. So it is quite important. We need to look at this. Critically, we need to look at competency. We have functional competency. We have leadership competency. And then we have fundamental competency. All these areas, the people need to know it. You look at competency based on qualification. You look at competency based on leadership. Then you look at competency based on the job the person wants to do. Competency is how to do your job description. It's not the certificates you have. That's why you see in some institutions, you have some people, they have first class, but they cannot deliver. That is why you have, even in JAM, when somebody scored the highest mark or scored above 300 in JAM, but when they give the person pursuit TME, they fail. Why? Competency. When you see some people, they gain admission, they rush into the school, but at the first semester, they are rusticated. Competency. So it happens in every sphere of life. Somebody said a marriage is like a chemistry lab. When you rush in, you rush out. If they are not competent, you don't go in. So you don't use a line manager that is not competent. We talk about competency, and this one I would like to talk about 4 levels of competency that must exist within the organization. 4 levels of competency. Because it's a psychological, it's a physical and psychological framework that we need to understand. Number 1 is the level of ignorance. Level of ignorance. Number 2 is the level of awareness. Number 3 is the level of learning. While the last one is the level of mastery. The level of ignorance. We call it unconscious ignorance. Unconscious ignorance. For instance, you have a line manager that his duty is to write reports. And every time you need to write reports within the organization, what is that date you need to write report? Or a payroll manager that anytime you want to prepare payroll for the next 1 week, everybody will not, don't disturb them, they are doing payroll. Don't disturb them, they are writing their report. And they will take time, and they think they are doing everything. Oh, we are trying. They will come to the office early in the morning, they will close later in the day. When all the other employees must have closed, they will close 2 hours later, 3 hours later. The following day, they will come back. But they are doing the job. They will deliver, even though they will not deliver to time. Excuse me, they are doing it. You need to put it, and there must still be mistake. Then somebody now comes and say, madam, hello, sir. There is an application I can introduce to you. If you use this application, it will boost you. For instance, you can say, okay, ordinary Excel page. Okay, if you can use this Excel to plan your payroll instead of doing it manually, it will help. And you write some small programs on it that will compute your figures for you. You don't need to do it by yourself. Also, if you compute, if you go to the next page, go to the next worksheet, and we do it for you. Say, is it possible I can do this? That's level of awareness. Once you get to this level, this particular ignorance is getting rubbed off. It's getting wiped off because you are not getting awareness that there's a way I can do it that will be faster than the way I've been doing it. For example, you use AI. Somebody said you are an editor. You provide, you edit a book, a voluminous book for 6 months. You interact with the writer, interacts with the writer, the person will take it back to you. But he now told you, he tells you that there is AI you can use that will edit this book for you. Is it possible? Okay, let us have it. Then you try it. And that thing you have labored for, laboriously for 6 months, AI does it within 5 minutes. Look at it. 6 months, 5 minutes. You say, wow. So if there's something like this, you want to learn it. Now, people can stay very long as unconscious incompetence, but we don't stay too long, except there are other factors, other problems, other challenges that will make you to stay long on a level of awareness. Once we are aware there's a better way of doing things, you move. You want to do it, then you go to the 3rd level of competency. The 3rd level of competency is what? is level of learning. You want to learn that application. You want to learn that approach. You want to be mentored. You want to be tutored. You want to be coached. And you learn, you release yourself to learning. The only people that are not ready to learn are the bossy people, the people that are stereotyped and they remain at unconscious incompetence. They are stereotyped. They are tactless. They don't want to be helped. They are proud. We have them within the organization. They don't know it. They say, after all, it does not hinder my salary. Yes, it might not hinder your salary today, but by the time they are doing appraisal, it will affect you. So you need to get out of unconscious incompetence, get awareness, and move to the level of learning, which is the third level of competency. That time you are now learning. You learn it, you make mistakes, you will correct the person teaching you will correct you, you make mistakes, and it gets to a time that wow, you are now knowing what to do. So once you know what to do, you have gotten to the fourth stage of competency, which is state of mastery. You are now boss on your own. You also can now teach other people. You can now teach other people. That is the state of that is the state of mastery. That's the state of mastery. When you have it, you have it. Nobody can take it away from you. When you have it, you have it. Nobody can take that thing away from you. It's a level of mastery. It's a level of mastery. And everybody within the organization to build capacity must be brought to the level of mastery. You are the gate. You must be brought to the level of mastery. How you do your JD competency. You are working at the front desk, how you attend to clients, how you attend to customers, how you receive calls. You must be trained. You must be trained. You must release yourself to training. You are under a manager. How you interact with your manager, within how you communicate. You must learn it. Because nobody is born a master. Everybody starts from somewhere. So when you get into the organization, you learn and unlearn. Then you move, just have to humble yourself. You know, I can do this. Once you believe you can do it, you can achieve a goal. And the CEO will always smile because you always have something to deliver. And that's the reason why when you want to sack some people within the organization, there are some people that are untouchable. Even though CEO might tell you that it's nobody that is indispensable within this organization, but there are some people that even just for that 1 month, they are indispensable. That's the reason why you have succession plan within the organization as HR. You must plan all these things in our capacity building. And when you build the capacity, then the organization will enjoy its capability at the end of the day. Then I move to the third component of organization structure. This is program delivery and impact. Program delivery and impact. Every organization will have clarity of purpose. Clarity of purpose. This is what we want to do. Every HR must have clarity of purpose because we are the driver of the organization. We are the driver of the organization. They are the blood that runs within the modicum of the body of the organization. And once you know your duty, not just compensation, this and that, but that you know how to bring money to the organization. You know, directly, they are not involved in making money, but indirectly, they are involved. So you are able to bring every resource within the organization to profitability. You are delivering. The CEO will like to bring you to the mahogany and discuss with you. That is when you know that you are doing what you are supposed to do. That is when everybody within the organization, they are working according to their JD, the program delivery. At the beginning of the year, you plan. This is our roadmap. You chart a roadmap for your organization. This is how we want to go this month. This is how we want to go next month. This is how we want to go this quarter. This is what we want to go at the first half year. This is what we want to go the second half year. Every HR, I said it the other time, you must have written your half-year work plan, the next part of the year. You must have that one in recruitment, in employee engagement, in HR audit, everything you want to do towards the end of the year, appraiser, everything you want to do, you must arrange all these things, how it will affect finance, how it will affect customer service, how it will affect procurement. If you're working in a hospitality outfit, how it runs, how many customers do we see? How many guests do we see on a daily basis? How do we arrange to this? What do we need to do for this unit that will make them to work very well? When you bring it and you are talking to your CEO with chart, you are talking with your CEO, communicating with the CEO with in percentages. If we can able to bring in this person, we can have 25% increase in the productivity in this area. If we can try to, instead of employing a new person for this unit, we can bring in, as a succession plan that we have been running, we can bring in somebody that will fit into this area. The CEO will look at you and he will smile. And he will smile and he will give you time. So we have program delivery and impact. When you run on this, there will be progress within your organization. And your program delivery involves the resources. It involves the processes within the organization. It involves your team assessment. You assess the team. Everybody that is working, you can say something about everybody within your organization. Okay, I can talk something about this unit because you get reports, you get feedback. It is not only when somebody is absent, they see you as HR. It is not only when you want to recruit, they see you as HR. You must know everything that goes on within the organization. Communication, to communicate with everybody. You look at it, every segment of the organization, you look at it, and your program implementation, everything, you must do it very well. Your project implementation, you must do it very well. Then you track and review. You track performances. You track delivery. You have delivery schedule. Program delivery. All these are what will help capacity within your organization. I don't know how many of us that have been doing this thing. We might be looking at it, we are not doing it well, but you have to start it because capacity development is everything you do within your organization on a daily basis. You can't do it this month and forgo it next month. No, you do it every day. You review it as an individual. You build your own capacity. As a student, you look at some students. Why is it that some students they are better than some other students? You look at it, this student, you know that in mathematics, I don't know this topic. Then you look at it, later I will learn it, later I will learn it. Before you know it, you meet it in the examination hall. Then you fail it. You fail the capacity. But there are some students that they know that, oh, I don't know this thing. I must learn it. I must learn it. They divide the time. For example, maybe you want to write an exam and it's a diet, we have 6 months. You look at how you bring down the topics in a daily task that you do. I want to finish a 500-page book. I must read it within 6 months. This is how I must do it. If I want to read a 300-page book within a month, how many pages will I read in a day? That means I must read at least 10 pages in a day. But there are some days you read 12 pages. There are some days you might also read 9 pages. But you look at it and you track every obstacle you have. You walk towards it. You build, you defend yourself. You confront all your challenges. Many people at times they try to jump to skip their challenges. If you skip your challenges, you will meet it in the front. I was listening to somebody today. He said you left a problem at home. You run to the farm. You've forgotten that even if you spend 1 year at the farm, when you come back home, you will meet the challenges at home. You will meet the problems at home. So that is what you need to do. You confront every problem. That is why you diarize. That is why you work with your diary. If it's possible, you have diary for every department, or you have page for every department. It's not just what you keep in your phone. It's not just what you keep in your laptop. It is what you have in your file. What you have something that is handy on your table. So at every point in time, you can say something. Then we go to the fourth component of organization structure, which is strategic relationship. Strategic relationship. This is every relationship you have that helps the organization. In outsourcing, merger, there was a time we had some banks merging with each other, You don't merge with somebody that does not have the same value with your organization. You look at your value, you look at your culture, you look at your propensity to attract clients, your propensity to attract profitability. You look at it, so you match with those people. You go into partnership with people that can help you. You go into joint venture with people that can boost your capability. Financing, all these areas, in acquisition, all these relationships, they will help. That's what we call strategic relationship. We have 4 C's of strategic relationship. Number 1, communication. collaboration, consideration, and compatibility. You need to understand these four key elements of strategic relationship. As HR, you look at it. How do we do it? When they are negotiating a relationship with other outfits, how do we do it? For example, you look at it that you have been spending more. You tell your students, you have been spending more on maintaining staff bosses. Okay, why can't we outsource? Okay, then okay, do you think if they are outsourcing, it will bring a 25% reduction in the cost of maintaining staff bosses? Wow. So what we need to do, we don't need to maintain bosses again. We just get the company that will come and carry our staff in the morning and take them back to their houses in the evening. This is okay. You look at it, okay, this is good. You can go into it. You want to go out, you call the organization that is helping in that area. Pay them. Some organizations also, they outsource their security. Most banks do it nowadays. And some other organizations. You have even cleaners within the organization, even cooks, the caterers within the organization. They outsource all those units. So when you look at it, you look at how this thing will help the organization. That is what we call strategic relationship. And when you are adept in this, it will help your capacity on a daily basis. You build, and it will help. It will help the organization. As HR, it will help. And this one takes us to the fifth component of organization development. The fifth component. What is the fifth component? Resource development. As HR manager, this is where we need to spend some time. My time is done, but we need to spend some time here. I believe we are still here, please. Hello?
Yes, sir. We are good, sir.
Okay. So in this area of resource development, what do we do? HR. I want to talk about three aspects of HR. We have the HR that deals with people and skills. We have the OD that deals with processes and procedures within the organization. And then we have the L&D that deals with training, where we have gaps. We have gaps between the people and skills, and then the processes and procedures. We deal with gaps, we train, L&D trains. So we have the HR. The HR deals with performance management. The people you have brought into the organization, you know their performances, you manage their performances. How do we manage their performances? As HR, you have the knowledge, the key KPI knowledge. KPI knowledge, you design, you craft the KPI in accordance with their job descriptions. You don't look at the KPI of a security personnel based on how he's able to wash cars within the organization, because these are some of the things we see. We see some security because of some things they're going to get from other people. We see them washing cars. It's not okay. You set their KPI. This will help their performance, the key performance indicators. It's the goals that indicate success or need to improve. We have the KPI. So we have performance improvement plan. As HR, you look at the performance improvement plan. This also helps the employee. And on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly, quarterly, you look at it. Performance improvement plan. For instance, an employee has just been engaged and is on probation for like 6 months. At the end of that probation, you sit down and appraise the employee. And if you look at it, there are some gaps that the person need to work on. You can look at it. You can have performance improvement plan for 30 days. You can have for 60 days. You can also have for 90 days. You have performance improvement plan. This will help to keep tab on the employee and the areas where it needs to improve and to change. We look at that. We guide the employee. We look at a gross misconduct. The HR also performs this where there is infractions within the organization. We look at that area. Onboarding. Most of us also will do this onboarding to bring in new employees into the organization. Unfortunately, in some organizations, the onboarding session is a time that employee will come and fill forms, write this, fill form. No, the onboarding session is a time you acclimate your new employee with the vision, the mission of the organization, and the culture within the organization. You onboard the organization properly. Let the employee know what is meant to do with in the organization. When we look at talent management, you look at this, you develop, you motivate, and you retain high-performing employees. These are the works of HR. HR must know employee cycle. When the employee comes in and when the employee is going. Now, there are some other things we need to know when an employee is going. Employee engagement. When employee is going, you don't just say, oh, you have resigned, so please, all the company properties that is with you, drop them with your manager, or drop them with your next person in line. No. You interact with that employee that is leaving. Why do you want to leave us? Why are you going? What do you think they are not doing well? What do you think they are supposed to improve upon? That's the life cycle of employee. You look at this because anything that happens to one employee is happening to every other employee within the organization. And that's where we have some HR that you can just wake up in the morning, you sack anybody, maybe because the CEO said sack this person without any processing, you just sack the person. No, you look at this, you look at what we are supposed to do, and you do it rightly. Then we talk about the OD, organization development. It's another outfit on its own. Organization development, the processes, the procedures, the standard operation procedures within the organization. How do you do it? You audit this area. How do we perform within an organization? The finance, how are they doing it? How are they doing the reconciliation? How are they doing this? How are they doing that? How are they working with the budget? How are they doing this? How are they, everything they do within finance, how are they doing it? Customer service, how are they working? How are they doing it? We see HR that maybe you are working in a product that you have factory. They don't go to the factory, only stay in the head office. You see HR, they don't go into the warehouse. You go and see the people at the warehouse. So they only stay in the office. No, you go there, you perform that organization area. You want to know the processes, how things run within the organization. You look at the processes within the organization. And then, where we now have gaps, the third part of the HR now comes in, which is the L&D. The L&D has a function of a strategic focus on employee skills, knowledge, and competency. When you have gaps, the HR will train. The HR L&D will train. HR L&D will train. Just as I said, incompetency, of ignorance. Some employees might not want to leave because they are tactless, because they are bossy, because they are self-willed, because they have no team playing skills, because they are indisciplined, lack of organization culture, because they are stereotyped, they are reactive. It is only when the CEO says, you have not sent this file. Oh, let me quickly go and send it. You have not sent this note to this person. You have not sent this memo. It is only when they say you have not, but they are reactive. They know that they are going to do this. No, all these people that are time wasters. They avert changes. They don't want to change. So in this area, as the L&D, you create training for them. You manage their skills. You have training. That's the stage. You take skills that is acquisition features to know and how they can produce, how they can be protected, to give them the templates to work with, to give them formats, how to run webinars, training, just as we are having today now. You can also add it in your organization. It is not only when you bring somebody to come and facilitate. You can do something internally within your organization. How do you help some other people that are incompetent during training? You can help with facilitating questions. You lead them to a thought process. How do you think you can do this? As HR, you just bump into one department, you say, oh, how are you, Mr. So? Can you do this? On a daily basis or on a weekly basis, you can itemize some employee you want to discuss with. You just need that. This is not filling forms. Some people, when you fill forms, you might not know how you interact. You might not know the body gestures, the body language of that employee. But when you are one-on-one with that employee, you facilitate questions, you know the thought process of this employee, and this will help capacity development within this, and it will bring them to consciousness of what they need to know, to help them to persevere so that they can achieve goals. And before you know it, will bring them to their conscious thought, and this one will help the organization. It will help the organization. So we need to look at that area critically when you do training. When you do training and when you work in training, it helps your organization. It helps your organization. And as HR, you will now perform very well. You perform very well. And once you have done this, you are good to go. Then we go to the sixth point, which is the internal control. That is the last component of our organization structure. Internal control. Our time is gone, but I will try to paraphrase it. Internal control is the process and procedure, how process runs within organization. You have this internal control unit. They control everything. You have your control on operations. You have your control of customer management. You have control of IT, on innovation. You have control on regulatory and social processes. All these things, we put them together. And what are the tasks of internal control? Assessment and evaluation. They set guidelines and objectives. They manage and supervise staff. They handle budget. They delegate staff among teams. These are the functions of internal control. And we need to look at this very well. Don't forget also, under internal control, we can have planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. We use all these. So when we do all these things, we will surely achieve our capacity because everybody within the organization will be on the same page. When an employee leaves his house in the morning, he knows what he's meant to do. Therefore, it will reduce absenteeism. You don't need to run after them because they know what to do. Now, we now go to organization capacity audit. This is a topic on its own. However, you need to mention it because as HR, you need to be able to do some of these things internally. The processes within the organization, the policies in the organization, the people within the organization, and the practice within the organization. We need to look at them very well. You look at the process. That process, does it align with the policy? The people, are they working within the process and the policies, or they're just flagrantly doing other things? I've been in an organization where you see somebody is busy every morning. You see this person is busy, but at the end of the day, he will not deliver anything. But he's busy. Everybody will know that, wow, this man is working. But at the end of the day, he cannot deliver. So you need to audit the processes, the policies. That person will audit every unit within your organization so that you can achieve the work at the end of the day. It is of no use of crying when the head is gone. So it's not at the end of the year when you are looking at the performance of the organization, then you now look at it, wow, we should have done something otherwise. You do it on a weekly basis. You do it on a monthly basis, depending on the size of your organization. So you have the processes, you have the policies, you have the people, and you have the practice. Now, if you're able to manage organization capacity very well, you're able to develop your organization, you have some pros and cons that will also help your organization. Now, what are let me first talk about the disadvantages of organization capacity, because there is nothing that has advantage that will not have disadvantage. The disadvantage is that it will keep you on your toe as HR. It will keep you on your toe. That is the reason why you see some rich people, they are always on their toe because they don't want to go bankrupt. They don't want to lose their wealth. As HR within the organization, as a person that has built capacity individually, you will be on your toes. That is the disadvantage, which is also an advantage in the first place, because the best thing to do is to keep you moving. When you keep moving, no matter how small it is, you are achieving something. So that is what we can say the disadvantage. What are now the cons, the pros? What are the advantages? You have customer satisfaction. That is the reason why when I started, I said those companies that have been existing over 100 years and we are still hearing them. Yes, we have some organizations that existed less than 10 years. They are gone. Nobody hears them again. We have some people that some facilitators that once you engage them once, you will never engage them again. These are the people that they don't think about capacity. But when you build capacity as individual, when you build capacity as organization, when you build capacity as a manager, when you build capacity as a father or mother at home, when you build capacity as a child at home, when you build capacity as an undergraduate, as somebody that is aspiring to move forward, when you build capacity, you have customer satisfaction. You have motivated employees. Your employees are motivated. You see, they don't, even when you say don't come to organize to work today, they want to come. They want to come because they are motivated. You have motivated employees. You have articulated visions. Everybody within the organization knows the body language of the organization. Everybody in the organization knows where we are at every point in time. It's of no use when you have a clueless employee that does not know where the organization is at every point in time. And these people that are not, they are not strong capacity-wise. They are the people that when you meet and say, it's not my department. It's not my department. But when you have trained your employees, they are able to stand anywhere you have them. Articulated vision. You have labor loyalty. They are ready to stand for the organization. They are ready to defend the organization anywhere. Then you have reduction in recruitment costs. Reduction in recruitment costs. And it helps career paths. When some employees, they know that there is no career path in this organization. There is no life in this, there is no vibrancy in this organization. They resign. They tell you, I can't stay here. I can't stay here. Then you see them almost every 3 months, you keep going, and you cannot build succession plan in that type of organization. So you have labor loyalty, productivity, because everyone is working, the organization is working. Everyone is working, the organization is working. And it gets to our goal at the right time. Enhanced capability. The organization will engage enhanced capability. We have its capability, and the CEO will be ready to speak with you. And those are the organizations you see that throw party at the end of the year. These are the organizations that will tell you that I'm sending all my employees to Dubai. I'm sending all my employees to go and have fun. I'm sending all my employees on training. I'm sending all my employees on this because there is profitability, there is productivity, there is accountability. Everyone is accountable. Everyone is accountable when there is capacity development. Then there is reduced absenteeism. Nobody will be willing to absent. People, when somebody say, please, I will come, please, I will come, please, I will come, because they know what they are meant to do. They know what they are meant to do. They know what is expected of them. Thank you very much from this little time we are spent together. This is what I believe capacity is all about. Developing capacity within the organization is something that we do on a daily basis, and it's the heartbeat of the CEO. It's what every employee must key into to ensure that we build our capability. Thank you once again, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun, for giving me this privilege to facilitate this model. I don't know if we are going to have questions and answer time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Akinlumi. This has been an excellent presentation. This is a masterclass. Thank you for sharing so generously, so magnanimously from your hearts tonight. This is a masterclass. Because of time, we would just like to take maybe 3 questions or comments. If you like to ask a question quickly, please raise your hands. We quickly recognize you, and Mr. Akinlumi will be at your disposal. Otherwise, you can reach out to him tomorrow. Of course, he will invoice you appropriately. Anyone would like to ask a question, or you want to say 1 or 2 things concerning this topic quickly before we call it a night? This has been masterfully delivered. Already in the chat box, people are saying thank you, expressing their gratitude to you, sir, for this presentation.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Anyone, any question, any comment? Somebody must say something, even if it is vote of thanks, if you don't want to ask a question. Who would like to say anything in line with this? Josephine says excellent. Thank you, Josephine. Jessica says excellent. Okay, I think I know what to do. I will just unmute everyone so that we can say thank you. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of everyone who has joined tonight, we appreciate your selflessness. All right. So anyone, let's just say thank you to Mr. Akinlumi.
Okay, my name is Kelvin. Thank you, Mr. Akinlumi. It was a good learning time. of the truth. Actually, I gained a lot from the class. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Yemi, too, for putting this together. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my good friend. Though I joined late, but at least I still gained the two things from me. Thank you very much. Akindele is my name.
Thank you, Mr. Akindele.